Apparently the process work doesn't have to be a PDF, so I'm doing a recording for it. So, idea is simple. You got your background for your box. What I've done for that is, since I have a couple of border walls, as seen here, I just use a different marker. I turned this one right here, I turned that into the background, so we'll just put BG for background. Then the other one, it does exist. It has a collider on it, so as a collider, so the balls will bounce off of it. However, I've set this to be clear, so it won't be shown. So, get started into the actual thing. You have player at the top. The player will be represented by a fish. Then you have the little pegs to draw. Just draw a bunch of pegs, I guess, as best I can. Some of them are triangles, just for a little variation. Then you have your points triggered. You have your walls set up here. They each have a triangle. Each of these has a collider on them. Then, for the underneath, you have your triggers. Each of them has a trigger. Certain ones will give points. For example, the middle will give 100. Then you have the ones on the two sides here that'll only give 1 point. And you have a few closer to the middle that will only give out 10 points. The ones in between are different. These ones are called what I call a fish. Each of them are called a fish trigger. There you go, fish trigger. The idea with the fish trigger is, since the player at the top, it drops a ball. So this is a ball or a disc, depending on what you want to call it. Either a ball or a disc. That disc will give a regular amount of points. So this will give the regular 100, so this will give the regular 100, 10, and 1. However, when you hit the fish trigger with the disc, the ball will be replaced by a fish. That fish will be taking the place of the disc for the next one shot, not for the rest, just for one. When the fish, on the other hand, not the disc, but when the fish hits one of the point scoring triggers, here, instead of giving the normal amount of points, it will give double the points. So instead of 100, it will give, let me just, fish, you get 300 points. Since it takes the 100, it's pretty basic. It takes 100, and then it multiplies that. Not really multiplies, but it adds on to the power of, pretty much. It's addition, it's weird, but somehow it turns the 100 into 300. So it's a semi-multiplier. There is no upper limit to the amount of points you can get. There's no end goal that I've set up. Next thing I want to talk about, sound effects. The player movement will have sound effects, figuring that out as we speak. The disc, when it's dropped, has a sound effect. When gaining normal points with just the disc, will have a sound effect. When you hit the fish trigger, that has a sound effect. When the fish is dropped, that has a different sound effect from the disc being dropped. When the fish hits a point trigger, that has a different sound effect from the regular point trigger. Also, background. Background has music. Background music does exist now. Anything else? Player movement sound effects being worked on, figuring that out right now. So far, it's just the worst low quality Funky Town you can ever imagine, but other than that, that's all for the first bit of process work.